Hey, everybody. Here we are with Caroline Parnell Barry from northernartmarket.com. Caroline, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. This is great. Listen, this is all about, support local business in, Northern Ontario. And we've been doing this series since probably last March when COVID struck, and we're still shut down in Ontario. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your business, and we'll kind of take it from there.
Oh, it's a messy story. Are you ready?
We are. Go ahead.
So, my actual career path is in broadcast media, marketing, advertising. Currently, I work for the Capital Center for the last few years.
Okay.
But the other half of my world is my artisan side. I've been an artist and an artisan forever, privately most of my life, publicly for the last 6 years. And then it was through connections with other artisans that I was beginning to understand a level of frustration coming up from them around they want to be online, but they didn't like the costs and the work involved in going on, say, Etsy or one of those other sites, or having their own website. Like, they wanted to be online, but they were nervous about it. And there was just a lot of apprehension and concern.
Yeah.
So I am also Métis and was able to tap into Métis funding to basically explore initiating a multi-vendor website to support artisans in Northeastern Ontario. That was the start of it, was for Northeastern Ontario specifically. I wanted to really promote Northern artisans. I'm thinking a little broader now, but so basically what northernartmarket.com is it's a multi-vendor website, very much like Etsy, except geographically oriented.
Gotcha.
So you become like a big fish in a small pond. That's the difference.
Great idea. And I see there's a bunch of different vendors on here. I would say 10 or 12, maybe more.
Yeah, we've got just shy of 30. Well, there's 26 on there. And
Nice.
there's actually more than that in the background that haven't initiated their shop. And this has been an ongoing struggle.
Right.
In spite of having, it's a learning for me too. Like, maybe somebody wants to be online and you give them help and tutorials, but there's still some reason why they're not taking the steps to just do the things to open the shop.
Yeah.
So I think there is a lot of that. And what I have also found out from discussions with some of the artisans is we tend to be an older demographic of artisan. There's younger ones, but there's a lot of the ones I found on my site were older. And maybe it does take more, work to help them be online than just even providing tutorials and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that
so
makes
that's
sense.
kind of an ongoing learning for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. So are you still looking and taking more vendors for the site at this point?
Oh, absolutely. And I even broadened it further. Like right now, though, like I said, I started with just Northeastern Ontario. I have got a couple of artisans on from Quebec, but they remain Northern.
Right.
I really had to give this strong consideration, this next thing. I was approached by a vendor a few times in the past year who had lived in the North for many, many years and was now living down South. And I had a rule about that. And I decided, you know what, if their heart is in the North, if they lived in the North and they retain strong ties in the North, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because absolutely.
She's not the only one. So she came on. And it was funny because she made sales the very next day. It was kind of cool. So yeah, that's something new. But I've got artisans right now. I'll give you an example of the geographic area that they're from. Although North Bay and Sudbury right now make up the dominant geographic area for the artisans that are on. I do have a couple in Quebec, like I said. I've got some in Timmins, Temagami, Raymore, Echo Bay, Parry Sound. I did have one in Cochrane. And that was something I should mention, is that I initiated this. I'm sorry, Paul, you didn't realize that when you wind me up, I just go, eh?
No, that's okay. That's okay. This is good. It's informing.
The site is only 2 years old. So the concept is only 2 years old. So it does take a while.
Sure.
The first year, I launched it with a Shopify site and an app, because there was no such thing that we could find that had that was ready as a multi-vendor website. They're all designed for single businesses.
Right,
So
right.
we went with Shopify for the e-commerce backend, and then paired it up with an app to allow for multi-vendor. We went with that for a year, and then once at that point we grew to over 50 vendors, which was very cool. But
Yeah,
that's
for
when we
sure.
started discovering the limitations of this app, added in there.
Yeah.
So made the painful decision to switch to a new platform. Everything else remained the same. It was going to be seamless for the shopper, but for the vendor, not so much.
Right.
So
okay.
Prepared them as much as we could in advance, migrated everything for them, tried to help as much as we could to get them just switched a bit, once their migrated stuff was there, and so they could open up the new shop with a couple of new bells and whistles. It was really cool, the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up losing over 20 vendors who just weren't up to learning anything new again.
Right. I understand.
So still regrowing from that in this last year during a pandemic.
Right. Yeah. So, okay. It's also a good idea, even if the vendor has their own website, this is still a good idea to get another kind of fishing line in the water to sell more product, right? It's more exposure. So
this is just one way.
Yeah. What is their process to become partners with you guys? What does that look like? What do they have to do?
It's actually really easy. The website allows for, it's just click, that you want to be a member. You fill in your, you open up an account with an email and a password. The application comes to me. I just check that you are Northern, whatever that means, and that you make your own things. I didn't want any resellers on the site. I wanted original artisans only on the site.
Okay.
So
got it.
That's it. That's my approval criteria.
Awesome.
And then,
and they can put on, is there a limit to the amount of products they can put on? Or
yeah, and we do, right off the bat, I should say that because our main competitor, as we viewed it, I say we because it's my webmaster also is a big part of helping me make some decisions. Our main competitor is Etsy, because that's the most well-known artisan multi-vendor website, right? So we wanted to be cheaper for the vendor. So we've done that. We wanted to make it easier, and we wanted to just kind of geographically arrange it for the North so that it's not global. You have less people competing with you as a vendor. Sorry, what was the other question?
Well, just for me, it was more about how do they get involved. So I noticed there's a link on your website.
Oh, the limit.
Vendor info and tutorials. So they kind of link on or land on there. The limit of the products, how many products they could be allowed.
Yeah,
so
we have two memberships right now. There's a free one and there's a $10 a month one. And the difference is the free one does limit you in how many you can upload. I think we have 10 products.
Okay.
And what happens is you pay a small percentage when somebody buys and they go through the e-commerce. So whether it's credit card or PayPal, or there's a standard fee no matter where you are, what site you're on. That is standard for everybody. And then ourselves, we take a percentage, which is less than Etsy. So that's what happens on the free ones. So there's not really any risk for an artisan who just wants to try it out being on a website and promoting themselves as being on that website. Yeah. Then there's the $10 one where we waive our commission. So you can upload up to, I believe our number's 100 items.
Nice.
So, and we promote you on our social media channels fairly routinely. So there's definitely a benefit to the $10 one.
Yeah, very inexpensive.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the type of vendors you have on there now, the type of artisans you have on there now. What type of products are you currently listing?
Okay, I'm just going to reference this if you don't mind. I'll look down a little bit because my memory is not, 1,000%. We have, okay. Like I said, first of all, I've counted, or I estimate a handful of Indigenous and Métis artisans, which means it skews towards a lot of leather hide work, like bags of fringes and moccasins and woodwork and stuff like that. Right. We've got this one gentleman who's on the Turning Point. He's the one located in Echo Bay. His work is magnificent. He creates like bowls and things from root burls and stuff like that, and it's just magnificent work. It's art the way it is. We have, let me see, we've got a few knitters in the group. And when I had over 50 vendors, we had even more knitters, different knitters and crocheters of all sorts. You wouldn't think there was that many things you could do with it, but there is. There's one, let me see, there is Aurora, who's quite, Aurora Light Sculpture. She's quite out there. She's in a lot of shows as well. So many people locally would know her. She's actually from Quebec, but she does beautiful light fixtures. That's just gorgeous. I love her work.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've actually interviewed her as well. She's very interesting.
Yeah.
Lots of great work, very unique, one of a kind, great stuff.
Yeah. We've got some painters on the site, some a couple potters. We have this one artisan from Timmins, Coeur du Nord. She does some really neat original jewelry made of like beetles' wings and stuff like that.
Very cool.
It's just, and little pieces of wood, you know, raw edge wood. We've got some beaters.
What I love about
photographers, got a few of them that are really good.
Yeah, awesome. What I love about this, Caroline, is it truly is supporting local. Like
it is.
Every one of these is they're doing it by hand. They're doing it locally. You're supporting someone locally with the family. I just love it. Love it.
Thank you. And I'm really proud of it, but I really need to do some more work on the business side of it, because when I first kind of did my, although as much as it was anecdotal, there wasn't a lot of other more routine research available to see about, you know, the viability of a site like this. The feedback was extremely strong among the artisans. They really wanted something like this, and they did come out in droves. Initially, like I didn't even have to work for them. They just came out. The difficulty is if they're not in a business mindset, because many of them, they only do it part of the time like me, but I'm in more of a business mindset. Some of them are not. So they don't think of things like, I'm telling them, you need to promote this to your customers. Tell them where you are.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It sounds normal to people who think business all the time, but to an artisan who's not necessarily thinking that way all the time, it's not routinely done. So I've spent an awful lot of money, especially in the first year, and then more, like not as much in the second year because it was pandemic. We had changed. So I did more strategic expenses in marketing.
Right.
But we're still struggling to be okay. I think I'm going to be one of those businesses that does take the full 5 years to know. Yeah. I'm paying out of pocket quite a bit because most of my members right now are on the free membership. Only a few are on the paid. And so it's like I said, I think I have to do more work on the business side of it now that I'm seeing how it's being used. But truthfully, as an artisan, like you mentioned earlier, you do use multiple methods of selling. And for anybody who's got social media channels, there's a chance that people have seen their work on our website as it was promoted and then found them on Facebook and just did a direct deal. That's common. That's common.
And I think
I'm not going to say don't do that. It's not good for me, but that's my fault. Like I have to figure out the business back end better.
To your point, though, to those business owners, they all should be using social media to the best of their ability to get their message out, because these are all different lines in the water, if you will. And, your website's great because it's kind of a one-stop. They can buy everything right there. There's a payment gateway attached. Yeah. And there's a great selection of products. So I love it. It's the first time I've seen it. It's a very interesting model. And there's lots of great vendors in there. So that's northernartmarket.com. Yeah. So you can buy, locally made products from there. You can also, if you're a vendor, you can apply to become a vendor. Yeah. And
like I said, the only limitations were an association with the North. And I will look at that carefully. The further away they are, the more I have to look at that. Right. But right now, like the overwhelming majority of artisans, including in the past who've ever approached me, are all from the North. Right. So I'd like to stick with that. And when I was first looking into this too, I should point out that there wasn't any such thing, which gave me even more drive to do this. There were websites that said a certain type of art, and then you would go on. It was basically just a directory with links to individual websites, which is another way to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
But there was nothing like this. There was nothing like a mini Etsy kind of,
So you started this less than 2 years ago. So half the time has been through COVID then? Is that the idea?
Yeah. We're okay. We're treading water.
Yeah. I would think it's a great time for artisans around the north to jump on this, because everybody has maybe a little bit more time. Everybody's kind of stuck at home, and people are looking for, they still need to buy things, right? So
yeah.
I do like a lot of that. You're right about Turn Point, the burl bowls he has. There's so many great things on here. So I encourage everybody, whoever's watching, check out northernartmarket.com. And again, there's a lot of great products in there. Caroline, in kind of a parting thought, how are you doing with COVID? How is that? I know you guys are mainly everything's online.
Who's us guys?
Well, just you and your vendors. You guys are all online. So has COVID really impacted you at all then, or not so much because you're all online?
It's interesting. I feel like we had more sales before COVID.
Okay.
But you also have to look at, like, what are people buying? For example, this has occurred to me. Myself, I'm one of the artisans. I'm the Grumpy Toad. I make probably half my stuff is jewelry of one sort or another. Who's buying jewelry when they're working from home?
I see. Okay. Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like, I feel like it really depends on what the item is. I'm not saying we haven't made sales, but there haven't been a lot. It was way more the first year, before the pandemic. So I'm not sure. I think everybody's just treading water. And like I said, a lot of these artisans, as far as I can tell, the majority of them, it's what feeds their soul more than pays the mortgage.
Right.
So
yeah, makes sense.
We have a little bit of elbow room when it comes to that, as artisans. Yeah. But you sure would like to see it going, because there's been, I can only speak for myself and assume that it's similar to others. I could open up a store right now in my garage, I'm telling you, Paul, because I don't stop making just because I have nowhere to sell it or because people aren't buying necessarily, items that aren't necessities right now. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
You have to get it out there. So I personally am looking forward to, I don't know, post-COVID, put it that way, and the mindset that comes with it.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
It's not even just a matter of being out there, maybe in a booth now and then. It's to supplement, you can promote your online that way too, and that they both work better.
Yeah.
But I think the mentality around COVID really affects what people buy as well. Because you look at our site, there's no necessities there.
Right.
It's all cool art stuff.
Yeah. I think a lot of these vendors, this is their passion, right? Like you said, it doesn't stop because COVID.
Exactly.
You still make these pieces. It's part of your DNA, right?
Yeah.
It's what makes you feel good, and you're producing a pretty incredible product from it as well. So hats off to you. Well done.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks.
Okay. northernartmarket.com. Check out the products on that site. And if you want to be a vendor, there's a link at the bottom to link up to submit your application and hopefully become part of this incredible artisans market, I guess we can call it, northernartmarket.com. Caroline, thank you so much for hopping on. I greatly appreciate your time.
Thank you, Paul. Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.